After a desperate businessman fails to climb the corporate ladder he's been dreaming of, his vengeful wife uses unsuspecting methods to change the fate of those who contributed to her husband's despair. One early morning, Patricia wakes her husband Truman and informs him that someone is in the house. The couple enters the living room and finds a sleeping woman that Truman recognizes from last night's party. So he wakes her up and sends her out. At Weston's residence, Marina and Alex, a successful business couple, prepare for work. Belle, their helper, reminds them that today is the birthday of their son, Roby. However, the parents dismiss the occasion for work, unaware that their son is listening. Meanwhile, Truman informs Patricia that he'll bring a client, Mason Wainwright, tonight. Patricia disagrees with her husband and stresses that she can't constantly patronize the events. Still, he persuades her by explaining that Mason's influence is needed to secure his promotion. Then, he excitedly presents her with a luxury car, which Patricia doesn't appreciate, knowing they don't have the finances to cover it. Her husband reminds her to dress prettily for dinner before leaving for work. When Truman arrives in his office, he notices that his superiors are speaking with Alex. Therefore, he commands his secretary, Karen, to keep an eye on everything. At El Camino High School, Roby skips classes to wait for his crush, Cheryl. He invites her out, but the woman declines, leaving Roby more brokenhearted on his special day. In the office, Truman receives Karen's report about Alex Weston, whom his boss, Mike Kramer, has been calling over the phone for weeks. Afterward, Alex returns home, and Belle informs him that the school called regarding Roby's absence today. He calls his son and harshly reprimands him for messing up at school, especially since he's supposed to enter Brookview Academy, an elite college prep school. Alex emphasizes that he's privileged to have his parents make life choices for him. Still, when Roby states that he wants to make decisions himself, his father becomes angrier and confiscates his car keys until he acts accordingly. That evening, Patricia cedes in anger while waiting for Truman and Mason. The men arrive late and unapologetically greet her. Soon, the two share a drink while intaking substances. The husband calls Patricia to entertain Mason, despite her opposition. When she gives in, the client shamelessly caresses her thighs, which upsets Patricia. So she storms into the kitchen and tells her husband to kick Mason out. Surprisingly, he justifies the man's actions and convinces his wife to let the man do what he wants with her, as he desperately needs to close the deal. Despite her protests, Truman hands her to Mason, and she silently accepts the client's heinous advances while her husband deliberately turns his back on them. The following day, Truman goes to work early, excited to settle the documents involving Mason, but he's surprised to see Alex with Mike. The boss informs Truman that the partnership will be given to Alex as he's the most capable. To make matters worse, Mike demotes Truman and commands him to vacate his current office. The ambitious employee explodes and walks out. Upon seeing Alex near the parking area, he purposely blocks his path and shows off his luxury car, which the executive ignores. The following day, Alex sweetly awakens his wife. Marina suddenly stops the intimacy by asking him random scenarios since she's inclined to visualize things to get in the mood. On the other hand, Patricia warmly greets her husband, but he coldly tells her that he lost the partnership. Truman leaves the house and goes to the office even though it's a weekend. The cleaner commends his devotion to his job, but the man ignores her. When he enters his office, he brings out a gun and takes his life. The cleaner hears the shot and hurriedly checks on him, finding Truman's body. Soon, Patricia receives the devastating news. Due to the incident, Alex works from home as the office gets renovated, which turns out badly for Roby as he gets caught by his father fooling around with his friends. Meanwhile, Patricia arrives at her late husband's office to speak with Mike. She inquires about the company's life insurance policy, which the boss explains isn't valid due to Truman's cause of death. He asks her about other assets she can use, but her husband left her with nothing. While Mike expresses sympathy, Patricia sees Mason and Alex closing the deal. The boss tells her she can take Truman's things from his previous office. As she scans the contents of her husband's box, she notices Alex's family picture, which ignites her wrath. She turns on the computer and prints out Alex's personal information. She rips a page in the address book and takes some important papers before leaving. Soon, she stops driving in front of a luxurious house. She rings the doorbell and is greeted by Mason. Without uttering a word, Patricia shoots him dead. Afterward, she begins spying at Weston's residence and sees Roby. Later at the school, Patricia pretends to be a parent looking for a school for her daughter and tricks the receptionist into giving her a list of tutors who can help her daughter adjust academically. academically. While the receptionist is busy getting the files, Patricia takes some blank papers with a letterhead from the school. That night, the vengeful woman writes a fake letter addressed to the Westons regarding Roby's grades which won't qualify for Brookview, and an offer for a set of tutors who can help him. Upon reading the letter, Alex looks for Marina to request help to deal with the matter. His wife refuses at first, saying she's busy at work, but the husband justifies how busy he is, so Marina agrees to handle the matter. Moments later, she calls Amanda Cressfield, a recommended tutor in the letter, and asks her to report to their house. Unbeknownst to her, it's Patricia she's speaking with. Soon, Marina introduces Amanda to her family, who are all unaware of the fraudulent tutor's real identity. They all welcome her, but the tutor explains that the house she's renting is under renovation and she has no place to stay for a week. She adds that she's willing to help them find a new tutor since the situation is unprecedented. Roby, who's beguiled with Amanda, interjects and suggests letting her stay in the guest house. The Westons offer it to her and ask Belle to prepare it as soon as possible. The following day, Roby tells his friends he'll go home to study, so they tease him about becoming a nerd. However, Amanda, wearing a little black dress, picks him up in her red luxury car. Roby immediately approaches her, leaving his friends and Cheryl intrigued. Afterward, Amanda and Roby begin studying, but the student becomes more distracted as the tutor flaunts her body. Belle suddenly barges into the guest house to bring snacks, and she meaningfully states that she won't like Roby to strain his brain and his eyes while looking at the tutor from head to toe. After a few days, Marina comes home from shopping, and Amanda assists her. Marina confides her concerns about how time flies fast and how she's losing grip on things around her. While Marina's in the bath, the phone rings, and Amanda answers it. The bathing woman asks her who's calling, but the tutor says it's a woman asking for Alex, despite the caller being Mike. Though Marina is concerned at first, she decides to dismiss it. Then, Amanda gives her a glass of wine, and the unsuspecting woman drinks it without knowing it's spiked with some pills. Marina becomes tipsy, and the tutor helps her dress up enticingly. However, the mood is cut when Alex calls his wife to hurry. Belle interrupts Alex to bid goodbye for the week, but their attention is caught by Marina, who descends the stairs like a goddess. The husband praises her beauty before escorting her out of the house. Late that evening, Roby plays basketball alone. As he shoots the ball, it rolls toward the guest house, where the window is open. Amanda notices that her student is peeping, so she deliberately touches herself. Belle suddenly pops out behind the prying man and reprimands him for his misconduct before sending him away. Hours later, Roby has finished bathing when the door opens, revealing his tutor. Amanda scolds him for peeping on her earlier, but she tells him to be forward with it if he wants to look and kisses him. Due to the invitation, Roby goes to the guest house afterward. Here, Amanda teaches him how to be intimate with a woman. Marina awakens with a hangover the following day, and Alex criticizes her drunkenness the previous night. The wife stops him from talking as she refuses to hear whatever foolishness she's done. While Alex rests by the pool, Amanda approaches him, and they talk about Roby's progress, which the son overhears. The tutor opens up about billiards and challenges the patriarch to play with her. At the same time, Marina watches jealously from the window, so she returns to bed. That evening, Belle attaches blinds to Amanda's window and leaves the guest house satisfied. The following day, the atmosphere in the house becomes heavy. Roby deliberately ignores everyone, and Alex refuses to speak with his wife. Marina vents her anger on Belle as she commands her to remove her pet birds in their room and change the beddings, highlighting she has to ensure she's sleeping on clean sheets. As the family leaves, the helper places the used linens on the baskets and answers a call from someone she knows. She takes her time speaking over the phone as she copies the aerobics dance moves on the television. As the call ends, she carries the big laundry basket and goes to the laundry area in the basement. Unbeknownst to her, Amanda has set up a trap by tying up a string on the staircase to make the housekeeper trip. She also removed the light bulb to obscure the older woman's vision. With the laundry basket blocking most of her view and the light refusing to turn on, Belle descends the stairs and trips, hitting her head on the floor. Amanda hurriedly removes the string and returns the light bulb. Moments later, Roby returns from school and calls for Belle. Having no response, he looks for his tutor and embraces her passionately. However, Amanda grabs his math quiz papers and sees a high score, so she lets Roby initiate intimacy as a prize. Then, she sees another paper and discovers he failed his French quiz. She reprimands Roby for lying to her and commands him to turn around. Amanda speaks to him in French, and every time he makes a mistake in responding, he's hit on his back. Then, the tutor drags takes him to his room for a unique punishment. As the two commence their special lesson, Marina returns home and sees the bedding on the basket by the staircase. She calls for Belle, but there's no response, so she roams the house looking for her. Upon opening the door to the basement, she sees the housekeeper unconscious on the floor. Marina screeches in fright. Afterward, the police arrive to retrieve Belle's lifeless body while the grieving woman blames herself for the accident. Roby and Amanda try to comfort her, and moments later, Alex returns home with the utmost concern for his wife. Late that evening, Alex plays billiards to distress himself, but Amanda approaches him, pretending to be genuinely concerned while flaunting her body. The patriarch distances himself from her and confides his problems regarding his terrible relationship with his son, Belle's demise, and Marina's issues with her excessive intake of anxiety-relieving medications called Valium. He also admits that he's afraid of what he can do to Amanda in the face of temptation, but this gives Amanda more determination to entice him. Finally, Alex gives in, unaware that Roby is watching from afar. Afterward, the son confronts his father and comments about his terrific game of pool as a form of blackmail. Then, the son retrieves his car keys and refuses to go to school. The next day, Amanda heightens the tension by approaching Alex, but the man leaves her. Then she calls the pharmacy, pretending to be Marina to get more supplies of Valium. Later, the vengeful woman wakes Marina up and serves her tea mixed with dissolved pills. The tutor explains that she's here to help, which reminds the wife of the incident regarding Belle. She breaks down and confides in Amanda, who pretends to comfort her. As the Valium takes effect, Marina becomes disoriented, and the tutor takes the chance to entice her. Suddenly, Roby returns home, calling for his mom, and Marina regains composure. Being frantic, the mom mentions school and requests him not to vent his frustrations on her. The son finally verbalizes how his parents don't know anything about him. He suggests to his mom to take more pills, which upsets Marina, making her slap her son, which she immediately regrets. Roby storms into his room, so Amanda follows him. She frames Alex for the pool table incident, implying that she was threatened and attacked, so Roby turns to confront his father. Amanda stops him, so Roby recommends leaving, but the tutor calms him down and requests to stay for a few more days. The next day, Amanda wakes Marina up to show a woman's earring she retrieved from Alex's things, pretending that she thinks the wife owns them. Due to this, Marina's depression worsens, and when Alex arrives that evening, he finds his wife still in bed. Angered, he drags her out of bed, pushing her into the shower as he declares that Amanda is correct in saying that Marina will deny taking Valium. The wife cries in agony, while Roby feels frustrated hearing everything. The following day, the son purposely bumps his father, and Alex strangles him when his son charges at him. The older man only stops when Amanda enters the room to get her jacket. Then, she takes the remaining pills she ordered and places them on Marina's medicine stack. She offers her tea with the same pills, but this time, they haven't melted much, and Marina discovers the root cause of her problems. That evening, Roby and Amanda spend a passionate night, since the man has decided to leave the house. When morning comes, Alex sees Amanda's car for the first time and finds it familiar, but he ignores it and drives to work. Moments later, Marina sends her son off while the tutor watches from afar. Alone in the house, Marina receives mysterious calls, and unfortunately, a thunderstorm comes, enhancing the creepiness of the place. Suddenly, the electricity is cut, so she roams the house to lock the doors. She hears footsteps, so she takes a knife for protection. The door opens, and she slashes the person behind it, but it happens to be Alex. He then fixes the fuse, and the electricity returns. Marina tries to explain her experience, saying that Amanda is trying to end her, but her husband won't believe her. In the office, Karen reminds Alex about some work and points out that the files are in the boxes. Simultaneously, Marina discovers her pet birds lifeless in their cage. She tries to calm down while crying in the shower, but after finishing, she sees a tea set ready. Amanda approaches her, offering tea, but she vehemently refuses it, pushing it away. Soon, the ladies brawl with each other, but the tutor overpowers her. Marina is dragged back to her room and tied to the bed. Then, Amanda forces her to drink another pill while explaining how she'll stage Marina's demise. Though the struggling woman does her best to fight back, it's shoved into her mouth. Meanwhile, in the office, Alex opens the boxes to find the files Karen mentioned. Finally, he sees Truman and Patricia's photograph and asks Mike about the woman's identity. Upon learning the truth, he commands the receptionist to send police to his home and rushes to save his wife. In the house, the vicious woman has begun threatening Marina with a knife. Alex barges into the room just in time when the widow cuts his wife's wrist. Having her cover blown, Patricia insults him by exposing what she's done with Roby and Marina. Enraged, Alex punches her and she falls out the window. The patriarch looks at Patricia, unconscious on the ground, and hurries to untie Marina. The ambulance and the police arrive moments later, but the authorities fail to find Patricia. The policeman asks the couple to file a report and reassures them that the culprit won't return since everyone knows her now. The cop inquires about their son, and Alex sighs a breath of relief upon saying that Roby is away at school. Marina tells Alex to keep everything a secret from their son. That evening, after taking a bath, the wife sees the tea set on her bed and panics, but thankfully it's from Alex. The phone rings, and when Marina answers, it's Roby checking up on her. Upon mentioning if he wants to talk to his dad, the son vehemently refuses. The mom reminds him to keep in touch with him, and they end the call. Roby smiles happily and turns around, revealing Patricia lying on his bed. They share a kiss, and the woman turns the lights off.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.